with New York Vinnie.
On this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What about the show?
New York Vinnie.
On this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What about the show?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Have a little fun. It's a fun day here out at
You're listening to Drivetime Radio.
Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
And it is my favorite time of the week. It is Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, just a little bit after. Time for Drive Time Radio with yours truly, New York Vinnie. That beautiful picture of New York at night sitting behind us, the Triborough Bridge. I know some want to call it the RFK Bridge. I never could really get on board with that. So we'll stick with the Triborough Bridge, Astoria Park. One of the places, Astoria Park here is where My Cars and Coffee happened, although we didn't call it Cars and Coffee back then. We called it hanging out with our cars, but that's where our cars and one of the places our cars and coffee would always happen. And it's still, you can't drive along it anymore. They closed down the street next to the park and made it a pedestrian mall. So that street that you see there where cars are parked and people are walking and so on and so forth, you can't walk on it anymore. You can't drive on it anymore, but you can certainly walk on it, and you can park at the ends of it, and conveniently located, not too far away, was Con Ed Road, which was 20th Avenue, where we used to do our street racing, our insanity when you're 20 years old. That's what you do. You know, it's I know that it's dangerous these days. There's a lot more people, a lot more cars, and so on and so forth. And I don't recommend that anybody go street racing. But I do recommend that the people that run the streets try to come up with some kind of solution that would give people a place to go street racing or do their burnouts or do, the stuff that they want to let off automotive steam, I guess is really what you would call it, to come to some kind of place where young people that have cars that have high horsepower are built up, that they want to show off, that they want to show how they can, the car can do this, and this, where these people can go to safely show that their car can drift, show that their car can do some of the things that, they see in the movies, I guess. We didn't, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we had some movies. I mean, obviously we had things like Hot Rods to Hell, which is a classic. If you've never seen it, you really got to see it. And of course, there was the Steve McQueen Le Mans movie. I mean, there was a bunch of racing movies back in the day. None like you see now, but there was some pretty good movies. Anyway, the bottom line of this little open that I'm on is that I wish that the county governments and the different local governments could get together, come up with some airport runway or someplace where kids could go on a Friday or a Saturday night and get, not do their street racing, their drifting, their whatever out in the street, where it could be regulated, where maybe some cops that wanted to volunteer or people that wanted to volunteer to go to these places and help these kids out and do it in a safe and controlled manner, as opposed to doing it in the parking lot of Dick's or in the parking lot of, or on as we saw the video that made national news this week, the intersection of 69th and Elliott in Middle Village, MAZDA'S, that area of Queens, where they had one of these, what is it, a takeover, they call it? A takedown, takeover, take something. The only thing that it looks like anybody got taken to was jail, as they caught up with the guy who was doing all of this nasty stuff. And again, I shouldn't call it nasty, because it's not nasty. It's almost an art form to We did it on places like the Connected Highway, and I'm sure they did it here on Aurora Avenue. I mean, I always come down Aurora Avenue between the zoo and the park in that strip there. And I just say to myself, you got bridges, you got places that people can see. This is a perfect place for, jumping on your car a little bit. But of course, it's not the perfect place, because it's out in the street. There's other cars there. It can cause havoc. It can cause destruction. It can cause death. So again, I please say to people, like you're going to listen to me, don't do it. Don't get in your car and go out in the street and start drifting out in the street or intersections, things like that, and create a ruckus and run the chance of getting arrested, run the chance of getting your car impounded and sold off. You put all that work into a nice little ride, nice little Honda, a nice little Toyota, a nice little Nissan, and the next thing you know, it's on the back of a tow truck and being taken to some impound yard, where chances are you'll never see it again. And then a few weeks after that, you'll see the owner's son of the impound yard, driving down the street on the wheels that you bought with your hard-earned money. So I just wish, and again, I know I get on this soapbox every summer, every time that we get into the situation where we see people out in the street and there's a bad accident or somebody's getting hurt or something happens, a mass arrest or something like that, or a shooting. All these kinds of things happen. And it's not because of this, but it is an outgrowth of this, because you have kids that are going to let off steam, and they're going to do it no matter what you say. If you restrict kids, if you put a clamp down on these kids, they're only going to go somewhere else. They're only going to find someplace else. They're going to move to another town instead of coming up with some kind of county-wide or region-wide solution of being able to go to a Boeing field, or being able to go to some airport or some piece of land, and being able to let off your steam. And I don't know, maybe Ron Crockett has something down there by the racetrack, the horse racing track, that maybe something could be worked out with him. Something could be worked out with someplace that is not going to create havoc and is maybe going to draw some crowds and keep kids off the street, and be able to at least look into it. I wish the county and the region and the politicians would at least look into it. It's a problem. It's a growing problem. more and more kids are dumping more and more money into cars and trying to make them go faster. And I just think that at some point here, some wise people should try to come up with a solution before we have another death, before we have another accident, before we have somebody else getting killed or crippled because of this. It makes sense to me. And if it makes sense to me, I got to think there's other people out there that it makes sense to as well. All right, the show is Drive Time Radio. We're on every Saturday morning from 11 to 12 or thereabouts. Sometimes we go a little bit longer. That's the beauty of this show being on our YouTube channel or at the internet or our social media channels. We can, if we're grooving with a subject, if we're grooving with something, we can go longer. And we can talk about it a little bit more in depth. If we have guests on, we can talk to them a little bit longer. So that's something that is nice about this format. And I hope you keep tuning in and tell your friends. I hope if you go to YouTube and find us, that you'll like us and subscribe to us. We really could use the massive subscribers. We could use a lot more subscribers on YouTube, on our social media channels, as we are really trying to grow the channel. We are trying to get more people to tune in, to be the voice of automotive stuff that goes on in our region. You know, it's for me, it's a different attack than sports, which is what I'm used to doing. But cars, I grew up in the car business, my first love, and it's really something that I believe in. I have a lot of fun in. I've always loved driving cars, loved working on cars. You know, the whole thing. I've owned several hot rods in my life. Owned several Corvettes. I'm a Chevy guy. You know, don't knock me for it if you're not. But I've always believed that there's just a love affair that goes on between a person and their car. Now, I know for a certain amount of people that doesn't happen. There are certain amounts of people that, you know, they're looking at cars like an appliance, like a refrigerator. You buy one, you park it, you drive it. You park it again, you go, you drive it, you take it to the store. All you want out of a car is that it gets you from point A to point B with no trouble. And you know what? This show is for you too, because we try to at least put stuff on here that lets you know how to work on your car, how to maintain your car, how to get good bargains for different items on your car, and keep your car running so that it does get you from point A to point B. So there's nothing, don't feel like because you don't know a lot about cars that this show has nothing for you, because we try to have something, a little something for everybody. Advice if you're going to buy a car, if you're in the market to buy a car, if you're saying to yourself, I need a new car or a used car, or just a place to vent and to talk about the price of gas and how it's just gone absolutely crazy with this war in Iran and this whole insanity that's going on. That you know, the price of gas is in most places up over $5 a gallon. I went to Costco yesterday, which is my favorite place to gas up. It was $4.99, as high as you could get it, without going over $5 a gallon. But many places up along Aurora, in neighborhoods around the Puget Sound, it's well over $5.50. Diesel is up over $7. I didn't think diesel was going to get to $7 until 4th of July. But the insane price of gasoline and diesel fuel Now, the diesel fuel is really going to kick in, I think, here in the next month because it's vacation time, and many of the people that use pickup trucks to tow their campers, to tow their different their boats, jet skis and boats and all of those recreational vehicles, all of those vehicles that get you out on the lake, get you to camping, get you here and there, get you over the other side of the state, get you to the gorge. A lot of them use diesel fuel. And you're gonna see that's that vacation that you wanted to take is gonna cost you a lot more money this year. No matter how you dice it up. Everybody's charging more for things. Many people say it's because the cost of diesel is associated with trucking. Most trucks that use that deliver the things that we use are diesel trucks. And so when that price is going through the roof, the price of goods is going through the roof. I'm working on putting together a move of stuff right now from Pittsburgh to here, and it's gone up 25% in the last 2 months from a container company. Just the price of moving this container full of stuff I have from point A to point B is up 25%. And who knows what it's going to be by the time that I get there and get the stuff loaded up. It could be up another 10%, 15%. But what are you going to do? That's the price of freight, literally. So those are some of the things that we look at. The price of gas is something that I talk about on each show every Saturday morning because I want you to know what it is. I'm looking this morning. Well, you know what? I want to look at Mount Vernon. Now, I was looking at Spokane this morning, and Spokane was actually not too bad. It was $4.90 something a gallon. I look at Mount Vernon and Anacortes, which is one of my favorite places to go, up north of us here. And Mount Vernon, Anacortes, Washington, the live ticker for gasoline is $5.49, $5.49.9. So $5.50 a gallon in Mount Vernon, Anacortes, Washington. So it is up. Something must be strange. Something's different here. Something's weird here because it has the price going up 40 cents since yesterday's average. So I don't know if their methodology is screwed up or what, but that would give me a little cause to stop and wonder. As I look at Washington, it's the state of Washington, $5.43 a gallon. Price is up a penny since yesterday, 5.4 cents since last week, 12.7 cents this month, and $1.18.9 over this time last year. This time last year, unleaded regular was $4.24 a gallon. And that's an average price for the state of Washington. Now that same gasoline will cost you $5.43 a gallon to put in your car. And that's it takes a bite out of your wallet, man. It takes a bite out of your pocketbook. It takes a bite out of your credit card. And listen, make no mistake, there's a ton of people who are at the point where they're putting their daily necessities not on debit cards, but on credit cards with high interest because it's tough to pay for things right now. So, what can I tell you? Drive less. You know, try to make less trips when you're driving. Plan out your routes a little bit better. But I'll tell you the easiest thing to do. And again, I know this is fundamental stuff, but it's really something that I preach because it's the easiest thing you can do. Make sure you have the proper air in your tires. Make sure that you're not carrying unnecessary junk around in your car. The least you're carrying around, the less weight that is, the better it is for your mileage. And you have an opportunity to clean out your car. Make sure that you're not carrying a toolkit that you don't need to be carrying around, or an extra tire, your snow tire. I know people that carry their snow tires around in the trunk of their car. And yeah, it's great if it starts to snow in July, you have them right with you. But the reality is, it bites into your gas mileage. So that's something to think about as well, and something that, again, you need to do every little thing to save money on gasoline right now. I know it's Vinnie, you're preaching, you tell. I know, but I want to make sure that you get bang for your buck because at $5.43 a gallon, which is what you're going to be paying in Washington State average. We have the highest cost for gasoline to begin with. Our gas taxes, our surcharges, our carbon this, and our all of this other stuff make this one of the most expensive states in the country to drive in. And when the roads were nice, maybe you didn't mind so much. But as I drive, I made a silly statement a couple of years ago, that the roads in Washington are nice, are decent roads. Well, either they've gone down a lot in 2 years since I've said that, or I'm just an idiot that didn't know what I was talking about. Something has happened because the roads in Washington are not the best roads or even among the best roads. I mean, I would say they're in the bottom 10 or 15 of states on road maintenance. And listen, WashDOT does a great job at maintaining the roads. They build them. They try to do what they can do. But you're catching up with an infrastructure that has been neglected for a long time. You're catching up with an infrastructure that has been that money that was coming for this infrastructure was stifled. And so it's not that we're just seeing the effect of this now. You're seeing it, what has happened over the last year and will continue to happen. So that's something that you have to deal with too. You're paying more and getting less. How do you fix that? Well, some people say that part of the problem is that electric cars, EVs, are not paying their fair share because money for road repair, for road improvement comes from the gasoline tax. And when a car doesn't use gasoline, it doesn't pay the gas tax. And so you have to look around. You have to say, okay, well, what can we do about that? How do we fix it? Well, you have to figure out a way to fairly and equitably get money out of people that drive electric cars. Right now, people that that drive electric cars get a bargain. They're not paying gas tax. They're not paying other taxes. And there has to be some way, some mechanism of getting them to pay their fair share. We're not asking them to pay more. It's asking them to pay their fair share. So that's something to take a look at, something to keep in your mind as well. Lots of different cars and coffees and different car shows getting cranked up around the Puget Sound area, all over the state of Washington, all over the Northwest. Great shows. This is, I think, going to be a really nice summer for car people, whether you own a classic car, whether you just like going out with your girlfriend or a friend of yours and just looking at the cars and dreaming, gee, someday I want to own that one. Someday I wish I could own that one. Maybe you're in the market for one. It's something to think about as well. Maybe you want to get in on the classic car thing that's going on. You don't always have to have a collector car to get in on the classic car craze that's going on. To shine up that car and take it down to Cars and Coffee on a weekend and talk to other car owners and talk to people and join that community of people that that make a hobby out of their cars. It's I find a very welcoming, a very encompassing sport, hobby, whatever you want to call it. And you can join it really just by showing up. My friend Ryan, Shoreline Cars and Coffee, right behind the Aurora Borealis on Saturday morning, starting, I think, at 7 o'clock. Ryan does a great job. He's done Shoreline Cars and Coffee, rain or shine, snow, sleet, hail. I mean, I was down there this year when it was snowing, and there was a bunch of people out there with their cars. Even a guy with he had a 64 Corvette, 65 Corvette, took the car out and had it in the snow and in the rain and was showing it, and people had come by to look at it. Come by to talk. Come by to have a cup of coffee and talk cars. There's a new Cars and Coffee down here in Edmonds, down by the museum. I forget exactly what they call that. It's used to be a shopping center. Now it has the museum. It has the Top Pot Donuts. It has a bunch of restaurants. And on Saturday morning, it seems like it's every other Saturday. Actually, it's Sunday morning. Every other Sunday morning, they have Cars and Coffee. And hopefully we'll get down there and maybe do a show from there. I've done a number of shows from Cars and Coffee in Shoreline. Be nice maybe to go down and do one from Edmonds. And, talk to the people that go down there and bring their cars and enjoy them. I know also the LeMay people have the museum and the collection in Tacoma, near Tacoma. They're getting in full swing. I saw a notice come across my timeline on Facebook that they have their annual open house coming up in a not too distant future. That's one of the automotive events that you shouldn't miss. If you're a car enthusiast, that's really a great event. I want they have an auction as well. That they now I don't know if they're still doing it, but they would sell off part of the collections. And it's in Tacoma, so the LeMay collections at Marymount. And if you've never been down there, really, definitely a place to go and check out. On May 9th, we're going to have something. Today's the 25th, right? They're going to have the Marymount Tea Party. I don't know what that is. But the LeMay Monthly, they do a monthly private garage tour where they take you through. You can see the collection. Oh, yeah, there it is. The Lucky Old Car Auction Spring Classic, which will be June 6th in Tacoma. Just go to LeMayMarymount.org and check out their events and check out the things that they have going on. So the 6th and the 7th, you can also subscribe to their newsletter. And again, we really need to get somebody. I'll work on it this week. We need to get somebody from LeMay on the show and talk to them a little bit about what they're doing there. They've been a part of this automotive scene as long as I've been around. It's 30 years and change now. I know that they built the car museum down in Tacoma, and it seems to be some different entities running the museum and the collection. And I don't know. I'll give both of them equal time and give both of them an opportunity to come on and talk to you, the motoring people of Puget Sound, about what they're doing and what they have. And it's a great, again, if you're into cars, these are, especially this garage walkthrough that they do. I've done that a couple of times. And, Mr. LeMay's collection was vast. I mean, he had, one of everything. It looked like he was getting ready for an ark. But he has had, when he was alive, and has continued to has a great collection of cars, which they, from time to time, sell off some of the cars. Bring new ones in. Bring different stuff in. It's without a doubt worth checking out. And they, as I said, go to their website, LeMayMarymount.org. Look at their upcoming events. Look at a little bit about what they're all about. It's a great local resource, local place for people that are into cars, that are into collector cars, that are into all of the different types of cars, trucks, so on and so forth, to to go in and to see what they have and see what they're doing. So that's something that's without a doubt worked. All right, I want to remind you that our show, our little automotive show here, is brought to you by, I know we got him here a second. There we go. My good friend George Jackson, Advertising Specialties for your business, for your team, for your event, for your organization. And what George does so well, and I've been friends with George for a long time, is he is about service. One of the things that people don't get these days is service. If you order something, you want it done on time, you want it done on budget, you want the person that you're talking to feel like they know what you're talking about. And with George, that's what you get. When you order something from George, when you go through his catalog, when you order a pen or a patch or a T-shirt or whatever, you're not doing it on a computer and hoping that the computer or the artificial intelligence gets it right. You're picking up the phone, you're calling George, and you're saying, George, this is what I need. How much is it going to cost? And when can you have it for me? And George is going to say, all right, give me 15 minutes, give me an hour, give me 2 hours. I'll call you back and tell you. And George is going to call you back. He's going to tell you the price. He's going to tell you how long it'll take to get it. He's going to tell you if he can do it or not. And you'll have that information. And you'll be able to make your judgments on what you need to do from that information. On time, on schedule, on price, and personal service. That's what George sells. Along with, golf shirts, T-shirts, the things that come in golf bags that he sells the bags too. Golf towels, all of the different things that, especially this time of year, when people are having their golf tournaments, when they're having their car shows, when they're having all of this different stuff that, you usually get a tchotchke of some kind for attending. George is busy. But he's busy because he does the right thing. So if you need any of these items, go to www.gjpromo.com. That's www.gjpromo.com. Advertising specialties for businesses, teams, events, organizations, on time, on schedule, on price, and the greatest thing of all, personal service. Can't say enough about personal service. Because it doesn't exist in a lot of places anymore. And so we want to make sure that you get it. That's why, I've been advertising with George for years. And he believes in this show, and he helps keep it on the air. And hopefully you show your appreciation for him by telling your friends about it, or when you need something in this line, that you give George a holler and let him compete for your business. I think you're one of those people that will be happy that you decided and said, well, you know what, Vinny? You did me a good deal here. You did me a good thing, because I like doing people good things. All right. Let us continue on with the show. I've been on my soapbox, boy, half the show. But I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that you're able to especially the part about the kids early on. I'd sure like to find a solution or help out, come to some kind of solution before somebody gets hurt. And you always see it in the summer. It's always at that time of year where, 2 killed in tragic accident on Bazoo-Kazoo Street because of a car that got out of control. I hear it. I don't live too far from Aurora Avenue, and I hear it every Friday and Saturday night. Actually, probably most nights now that school is getting out. You hear, the souped up cars going up and down, and listen, I understand it. I did it myself. I know. But you always worry about that time you're going to hear that horrible sound of the car flipping over or something happening, God forbid, and a few young lives are going to be snuffed out because of this. When it could be preventable, when it could be something that you could prevent, that you could, you have the ability to do something about it. Hopefully. Again, I don't know. There's a lot of different variables that go into it. I don't know if the city should be involved, but if we dump billions of dollars into supporting sports teams and billions of dollars into supporting all of these different causes, can't we figure out a way to get these kids a place, get these young men and women a place where they're not on the street, where they have the chance to go to this place and rev their cars up and, you know, do have it sanctioned, have safety inspections, have have people involved. When I was a kid, my dad used to be a part of this group that wanted to. They didn't want to make street racing legal, but they wanted to give people that raced on a connecting highway a place where they could go and let off some steam. That's what the kids are doing. They're letting off steam. And I'd much rather have them doing this than buying guns and shooting at each other. And it doesn't take a lot to fix it. So we'll explore that more. I'm going to talk to a few people that I know that might have some at least insight into whether something like this could possibly happen. Because I think it would be a great thing for the community, great thing for us, a great thing for the raceways. I mean, imagine if you had a raceway that one night a week, a Sunday night, kids could take their cars up there and race them and go down the strip and do the burnouts that they want to do and do that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, the cops could look at their cars to see if the cars were safe, that they didn't have a wheel about to fly off, or that the brakes were good. There was some level of inspection. I mean, I think we need that for all cars, to be honest with you. But that's a soapbox I won't get on today. All right, let's take a look at imagine that, what I'm driving this week. Coming up on this week's edition of Yo Vinnie, 3 rows, fun to drive. Need I say more? All right, get in there. Where are you? Oy vey. Let's see if there we go. What am I driving this week? There it is. It's the Mazda CX-90 PHEV, plug-in hybrid vehicle. And if you know me, you know what a fan of Mazda I am. And this PHEV, now I've driven the CX-90 before in a lot of various forms. This is a 3-row SUV. It's been out by Mazda a while. It's the 2026 version. Mazda has, over the last number of years, really improved itself as a brand. I mean, it was a great car to drive beforehand, a great car to own beforehand because it was mechanically sound. It was their interiors were good. Their dashboards were easy and logical. It was a good, solid car to own. But what Mazda made a decision to do not so many years ago is to up their game a little bit and try to come up with cars that were not only performed well mechanically, but had a dash of luxury introduced into them. And that's what you find with this Mazda, the CX-90 Premium. It has beautiful body lines on the outside, but when you get in this car, in the interior, and you see the leather that's in there, and the way the stitching is done, and the controls, and just the way everything is placed in this car. I mean, this has the feeling of a handmade car. It has the feeling of a vehicle that, like a Rolls Royce or something like that. In that, you feel like people took the time to put this car together inspect it, make sure that it was good, and before it left the factory. You don't see a lot of loose threads all over the place, parts that don't look like they go anywhere. What you have here is a car that is crafted, an interior that makes you feel like you just spent money, in this case, $60,000 for a car that people cared about before it left the factory. And that's what the Mazda gives you. You know, we talked about the psyche of buying a car and the brand and everything. And the Mazda gives you that feeling that this car has been crafted and done well. The stripes in the seat are premium, the headrest, the 3 rows of seats. Now again, the 3rd row, not going to, it's a little tight back there. I'm not going to argue with that fact. But when you put down that 3rd row and that 2nd row, and you open the rear for stuff, you'll find that the CX-90 fits a lot of stuff in there. Now, under the hood, you have the 340 horsepower in the upper end models. It's quicker, I believe, than the other vehicles in the line. You open it up and you find the hybrid that gives you the electric power, the range of close to 60 miles in some cases if you nurse it, probably more like 40 every day. It runs on electric power. You can plug it into your house to get a recharge. Can't take a car like this out without stopping at Burgermaster. But you have it's a quicker car than its standard just gas counterpart. It has more power, more get up and go off the line than its gasoline counterpart. The one drawback maybe to the Mazda is that it's a little noisy. The cabin is a little noisy. Not so noisy that you can't hear yourself, but it's a little noisy. It's one of the noisier cars out there in the class. But the looks are great. The mileage is great. If you are into EVs, you have the feeling of being able to maybe go out and do your chores around town on electric power. So you don't have to use gasoline to do a lot of your local stuff. And then if you got to take the trip over to Spokane to Grandma's or down to Oregon or someplace, you have the gasoline engine there. Boom. It seamlessly goes from the electric to the gas. And I just think this is, it's one of the finer vehicles in the class. It is a vehicle that, again, when it comes to looks, when it comes to style, when it comes to the things that you look for in a vehicle, that if you're a bit of a car nut, maybe not as crazy as I am, but if you're into cars, it's a distinct looking car. And I can tell that is true because I remember when I used to get Mazdas, you just didn't see a lot of them out there. Now, drive up and down the street, and you see a lot of the CX-90s, the CX-70s, which is the 2-seater. And, if you don't want to go for the 90, the 70 is a great option. A mechanically sound car that's not in the shop all the time, and you're getting 5-star safety reviews, which to so many of you, if you are somebody that carries a family in a car, carries their kids in the car, that's important to you. That's why we see so many Subarus in the Northwest. That's why we see so many Mazdas in the Northwest. That's why we're starting to see again, once more, so many Volvos in the Northwest, because people want that feeling of safety, that feeling of the people who built this car care about my safety. And again, all in a package that's complete. The Mazda dealer experience from everybody I know that has gone to a Mazda dealer is great. I know quite a few people, friends that own Mazdas, and they all rave about the dealer experience. So it's worth a look. And also, one of the bonuses that you get with this Mazda that I like a lot is that they have still baked in their sports car DNA into this car. Even though it's a big SUV, it's a wagon, it's it's a car that has a lot of heft to it. And again, it's not for everybody, this car. I'm not going to say that everybody would love this car because it is a car that rides a little hard. It rides a little with the feeling of a sports car a little bit more than a gushy, soft suspension. That's not the Mazda. It's not a soft car. They have a number of adjustments for sport, for electric only, for making this car feel more in touch with the road. But you feel the road in this car. You do not disconnect. You know, there are some cars that you drive, and that's what the people that buy them want. They want a car that disconnects them from the road. They want a car that they're not plugged into the whole, I want to feel the curbs. I want to feel the car in the butt of my my butt. I want to drive this car and feel it, that it's something. There are a lot of people that don't want to feel that. They don't want to be reminded they're in a car. They wish that they could get into a Waymo and go somewhere else and not feel like they're being transported from point A to point B. And the Mazda isn't that car. Again, you're going to get the feeling of driving your car, of being connected with the road, of giving you a vehicle that is going to keep you engaged. I love using that word when it comes to cars. You want a car. I want a car. You may not. I do. I want a car that keeps me engaged when I'm driving it, that I can feel the curves that I'm going through, that I don't necessarily have to disconnect myself from the driving experience and turn on the stereo and not hear or feel anything. I want to know that that car is under me, and I want to know what the road feels like, and I want to know that I'm experiencing driving. And Mazda and Volkswagen are two of the top cars that give you that in this class. There are obviously you look at Porsches and you look at other cars in the class, and they're out there and they give you. But the interesting thing too is for an electric, it has one of the more engaging rides for an electric that I've driven. Now it's not a full electric, but you tend to, because of the tires, because of the suspension, you tend to lose something of that driving experience with the electrics. And the Mazda doesn't do that, in my opinion. Again, this is all opinion, but the Mazda doesn't do that. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you feeling the car. And when I drive a car, I want to feel the car. I'm a man that likes to feel things, likes to look at things, likes to drive a car that engages me or the person that's driving it. It's how I've always felt about cars. I want to feel it. I don't want that disconnected feeling with a car. And you don't get that from the Mazda. As I said, $60,000 on the nose for this vehicle. You have the comes with the cord to plug it in, or you can take it to a charging machine. You can see I took it to a Waymo, the charger over here at Winco yesterday, and there was like 5 Waymo vehicles there charging. I was like, come on, folks. Give it old man a break. Let me charge my car, but they're they're focused on the young people. Go away, old man. Anyway, so that's the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid. If you're looking for a vehicle that is going to do that electric thing for you, give you that kind of mileage, give you that kind of feeling, and yet you're not quite ready to make that leap into full electric. Well, here you go. Here it is for you. Here's something that's going to give you the confidence to drive it wherever you want to drive it, and still know that you're not going to get stuck anywhere as long as you keep gas in the tank. And for a lot of people who still have that fear of the electrics, they need that. People need that. So there you go. That's the Yo Vinnie for this week. So sorry about that. Somebody knew that the show was supposed to be over at 12 o'clock, and they jumped on me right away. Anyway, so that's all pretty much our show this week. I hope that you yeah, we did talk about something. One other thing I wanted to get in before I went away, and I would love for you to contact me or let me know at our Facebook page, which is Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Leave me a little note on the Facebook page or on my personal Facebook page. I'm very interested in your vacation plans this upcoming summer. Has the price of gasoline changed your vacation plans at all? Has it made you think about flying to a destination instead of driving? Has the cost of gasoline, the cost of fuel, made you say, I'm going to leave my RV in the garage this summer, because to drive it across country, to drive it to the national parks will be too expensive? Or I'm going to go out and I'm going to rent, instead of renting an RV, I'm just going to rent a station wagon, and we'll sleep in the car. We'll do a little car camping. How has the fuel situation, the price of fuel, affected your upcoming vacation plans for this summer? How will it change your vacation plans at all? Or are you one of those people that say, you know what? If it's an extra $1 a gallon, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go. You only get a certain amount of time with your kids before they go to college or take off. And we wanted to do the national parks this year. We wanted to do Route 66. It's the 100th anniversary of Route 66. And we wanted to take that ride and go on that trip that we've talked about for a few years. We want to do that. We want to, we don't want to let the prices affect our vacation. Now, some people don't have that option, but some people have the option. They say, well, I would, I want to, I'll sacrifice something else I'll keep my car a year longer. I'll sacrifice something else to take this vacation. It's more important for me and my family to go out on vacation and enjoy each other. You know, how many more years do you have coming where you can do this? How many more times is Route 66 going to turn 100 years old? I mean, there were probably some people in in the Roman days that were sitting there and they wanted to get in a chariot and take off up the Appian Way. But, the price of shekels went up. Price of feed for the horses went up. And they said, you know what? We'll wait till the price goes down. We'll do it next year. And the price never went down. And then the Roman Empire fell. And the next thing you know, this guy is walking around in a toga trying to explain to his kids how when they were 14 years old, he didn't take them to on that tour of the Appian Way. You don't want that to happen to you, do you? No. No. You want to get that vacation if you can. So if you got to sacrifice something at the other end, you'll sacrifice it to have these precious moments with your children or with your mom and dad or with your cousins or whomever it is that you have to have this time with. You want to have this time with them. Carol Burnett sings about it every time she does a show. I'm so glad we had this time together. So anyway, please get in contact with me and let me know if the price of gas, if the economic situation in this country right now is changing the way that you will vacation this year, especially if you're vacationing via motor car. If you're vacationing and you're saying, you know what, I'm not gonna take the RV. I'm not gonna buy the RV this year. The price of everything has changed my plans. Or if you're going just full out and saying, no, I'm not gonna let the economic situation ruin my vacation for me and my kids. Tally ho! By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but I have my Pittsburgh Pirates jersey on today. Pirates have been doing good. Figure I'd give them a little homage today. Pirates are one of my favorite teams, and like to honor them by wearing a little black and gold today. So go Pirates. I know the Cubs are just eating up that division, but hey, it's early. It's early. Don't get mad at the Mariners. It's early. All right, I think that's going to put this one in the books, as the great announcer might say. Once again, want to remind you that the great PJ promo, George Jackson, sponsors this program. He sponsors it every week. And he is the man who, without any doubt, can help you with whatever you need for your golf tournament, whatever you need for your business, your T-shirts, jackets, tchotchkes, pens, notepads, any kind of business specialties. And I'm going to say one thing here, and I know this is, but one of the things that I find is one of the most useful things that I get in a goodie bag or a golf bag or something is the little stick of notes with somebody's logo on them. I've gotten them several times in the past, and I've always found those to be some of the usefulest things that I get, to have that piece of paper and I can write a note on it. I can stick it up on my computer screen, or I can stick it on the door of my house, or stick it on the dashboard of my car. It's one of the most useful things. And because of all of the electronic stuff in the world, people don't use them as much anymore. But if you're thinking of saying, what can I give out to people that will be useful? That'll be something that they could use. That is going to represent, something that's whacked out. There's an answer right there, and George has them. George can make them up for you. So you get your logo in front of all of these people. And that top-of-mind awareness is spectacular. Give George a call. Or better yet, don't call him. Go on the internet. Find his company at gjpromo.com. Go on Facebook, go on social media, and find George at gjpromo.com. And find him, gjpromo.com. Check him out. Talk to him. And he will make your advertising specialty buying experience so much better. I guarantee it, that you will feel better about your experience buying these things and getting these things and getting advised on these things. So much better. So much, it'll just make that experience easier for you. And that's what we all want these days, right? Please don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're doing a push for subscribers. We really want to get our subscribers up. We're doing a push for them. Please tell your friends, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and you'll get notified if we do special events or different things. I want to get out to some car shows this year, do some meet and greets, and kind of like that, and meet the people that listen to the show. I love doing that. I love seeing who my listeners are. And I love that fact. And one other thing, I know Mother's Day is coming up here in, I believe, a week, right? Are we just a week away from, let's see, we are the 25th. Mother's Day is coming up here pretty soon. Anyway, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, and I will encourage you to do, is something I always do on Mother's Day. I love to do on Mother's Day, and that is to go out and buy flowers to give to some people in old age homes and senior living facilities and so on and so forth that maybe don't have their kids. Maybe don't have people that show up for them on Mother's Day and are able to show them a little love. So I ask you, my listeners, and myself and my friends to get together and make sure that these people get some love on Mother's Day. It's very simple. Now, I'm toying with the idea of doing it, and if you watch my social media pages, I'm going to try to do something this week, and please watch and listen to Mikey and Vinnie on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we'll get this thing going. It's my mother's 100th birthday this year. Happened on April 4th, and I wanted to make sure that we made sure that at least 100 moms got flowers on this 100th anniversary of my mother's birthday. So please, if you can, just go to Trader Joe's, buy a $5 or $10 bouquet of flowers, and drop it off at a senior living facility. Ask them to please give it to somebody who just doesn't have anybody. Believe me, there's lots of people. Lots of people. Or you'll look for this little plan that I'm going to put out it'll say, here, let Vinny take care of it for me. And I'll go out and I'll get flowers and I'll drop them off. I'll do the legwork for you if that's something that you're interested in. So once again, please, it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And you know what? I've done thousands of radio shows, both here in New York and Pittsburgh, in different places. This is one little way that you can show your appreciation for the time that I've taken over my career to present you with, I hope, some good entertainment. I really, I appreciate it, and hope that you will help me out in this crazy little quest that I've been doing now for I don't even know how many years. I mean, this started as an idea years and years and years and years ago, and I've carried it with me from San Francisco up here to Seattle, out to Pittsburgh, and brought it back again. And I just think it's a beautiful way of showing the women in our lives that we appreciate them, and that we can, as men, or as not, I shouldn't say that because I know a lot of women do this too, but as people, show them our appreciation. Maybe you're like me. Maybe your mother's gone, and you can't physically tell her how much you love her, how much you can't physically bring her flowers, but you can do it for somebody else's mom, especially somebody's mom who isn't getting the love that they deserve because their kid, for whatever reason, can't do it. Maybe they're in jail. Maybe they're in a hospital. Maybe they don't have any interest in their mothers anymore. Horrible thing, but it happens. Maybe we can spend a couple of minutes brightening up that Mother's Day, on Mother's Day, for that mother. Simple stuff, huh? All right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next Saturday morning at 11 if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Always appreciate your listening. Always appreciate your thoughts on our show and topics that we should cover, and so on and so forth. Again, thanks to George Jackson for making this thing roll as easily as it does and sponsoring our program. Thanks a lot to all of the people that contribute to the show to make it work. To our good friend Nutsy Fagan, who keeps things rolling as well, and my beautiful daughter, and all of the people that help make this show work. Okay, see you on Monday with Michael, and we appreciate your participation. Okay, be safe, drive safely, buckle up your seatbelt, and we'll catch you next Saturday morning for another edition of Drive Time right here on the beautiful wide world of our YouTube channel and the internet. Bye-bye now. If the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. You didn't think I was going to say it, did you?